So the biggest day for the Prophet ﷺ was the Isra, when he actually went to paradise in one night, a night journey. And then the biggest day for the Muslims was when the Prophet ﷺ made it to Medina. This was the happiest day for the Muslims in Medina, right? But one of the biggest days historically will be the conquest of Mecca, because these were the people who ran out the Prophet ﷺ, and he was coming back triumphant in a bloodless takeover. One like they do like people do now. You know what I'm saying? He said, anybody who's in the house of Abu Sufyan is safe. And Abu Sufyan was the chief enemy of the Prophet. But even though he was an enemy because he was a leader to his people, the Prophet ﷺ showed him respect by naming him, singling him out. Anyone who is in the house of Abu Sufyan is safe. And anyone who is in their own house is safe. This shows, because he could have just said anybody who stays in their own house is safe. That would have included Abu Sufyan. But he singled out one of the chief enemies of his, because that person was a leader of his people. And this is the way of Islam traditionally. So when Richard, the so-called Lionheart's brother, was captured with Richard the Lionheart, and they was brought to Salahuddin. This is the head of the Crusaders, the king. You ever see Robin Hood? The whole story of Robin Hood is about when Richard the Lionheart left and he was fighting in the Crusades. This is what was going down with the sheriff of Nottingham. That's the whole story. But what happened with them is that they got captured. And they was brought before Salahuddin. And right before they was brought before him, the news of a massacre of a Muslim village was brought to Salahuddin. So here he has a massacre of the Muslim village, and the person who did it was Richard the Lionheart's brother. He commanded the troops. And he told him, he said, had it not been in our tradition that we spare kings, I would have cut your neck. Meaning what you did is so heinous, you deserve to be punished by execution. But because of your status amongst your people, I'm going to give you a pass. Islam is the only tradition I ever known that's had that type of an attitude. Then we say, look, it's better for us to spare this guy than to do something to him and all of his people is going to be against us. There's a black 4-door Nissan Sentra, and it's under a big tree, orange, and it's blocking someone's driveway. So it's, sometimes we park, we say, man, this is an opening right here. This is a park right here. We don't notice it's a driveway. And then the person come out, they got to go to work. They like, why somebody park on my driveway on Black Friday? I'm trying to go to Target. I can't even get the truck out. So don't be embarrassed. If you got a black 4-door Nissan, license plate 6WNM 374, and you're under a big tree with orange leaves, that's very specific. Somebody like, they ain't talking about that. Won't sound like it's me. That don't. But it ain't me because I'm parked under a tree with orange leaves. Oh, it is me. We not even. Everybody keep looking to the front. We don't even want to watch the person when they walk out because it's embarrassing. We be like, dang, I gotta move my car. But the point that we're making is, sometimes you have to know this person carries a certain amount of respect. And by talking bad about this person or treating this person bad, I'm going to win more enemies than friends. So Abu Sufyan, he took Shahada, which means his people was going to take Shahada. You go in and you just start humiliating people and killing people. Ain't nobody about to want to become Muslim. They're like, man, them guys is bloodthirsty. They angry. They got daddy and mommy issues. They need therapy because they coming up in here and just tripping. And actually, this way was the way of the people of the book. Still to this day, tell the truth, you be like, man, the Christians coming in, heads about to roll. But in the time before the prophet, there was a Christian king from Ethiopia, and he conquered Mecca. And he was like, I'm about to go destroy the Kaaba because them people is pagans, and I'm a monotheist. That's not how we tell the story, but that's how it really happened. Abraham, he believed in one God. The pagans, they was pagans. So Islamically, we was closer to Abraham. So why was the surah revealed about Surah Al-Fil? Because Abraham's tactics. He went in and with some elephants, he's like, I'm going to destroy it. It ain't going to be no problem after these elephants trample everything. Anybody getting away, they dying. And then no more paganism. No more paganism in Mecca. We would have been like Allahu Akbar. If the way Muslims think today, we would be like, the ends justify the means, man. Yeah, we might be doing some bloodthirsty stuff, but it's the ends. We trying to make Islam rule everything. So we got to kill a couple sisters, hang a couple brothers, blow up a couple bakeries. In the end, look what we're going to get. And this is the religion of Abraham. And then what did Allah do? He sent the birds to destroy that army. And if we look Islamically, people with that kind of thinking, they never successful. They never successful. Even though they message what they want is good stuff. They want freedom for the people, they want justice, but the way they go about getting it, Salahuddin could have been like, okay, I'm about to kill this white boy and his brother and march their heads through the streets. But he didn't do that because that's not the Islamic tradition. The Islamic tradition is a tradition that looks forward. And as Muslims today, we got to have that kind of insight. So, man, am I going to take a shortcut right here? Or am I in for the long game? Am I going to do something? Hey, Ramadan, you be like some Muslim about to do something, make us all look bad. And they about to put it on news. I remember they was doing that stuff before they even had like all-day news networks. They would be like, breaking story. Some Muslim hijacked a plane. Some Muslim took some prisoners with some hostages in Munich. Some Muslim, I was like, man, every year? Some Muslim had an underwear, a bomb in his underwear. I was like, that was creative. And in our mind, that it's right to be upset when you see the problems in the world. It's right to say, this ain't right. We got to do something about it. But the tactics makes a difference. Because the Prophet, alayhi salatu wasalam, he was born in the year of the elephant. When the most powerful army came to Mecca that was ever seen in the Arabian Peninsula. And that army came to spread Tawheed. They were monotheists. They were not pagans. Sometimes that's lost on us. When we tell a story in summer school, we telling our kids, we making it seem like Abraham was 100% off. He just wanted people to worship one God. Just like the Prophet, alayhi salatu wasalam. But the Prophet, when he came with a 10,000 man army, Abraham had how many people in his army that went to Mecca? 10,000. The Prophet had how many people in his army that went to Mecca? 10,000. Abraham said, man, ain't none of y'all gonna come out and fight? The Meccans ran for the hills. You go on high, you see all of these mountains around Mecca. That's where all of the crazy. They was like, hey man, we gonna wait till he get done. When the Prophet came, he said, anyone in the house of Abu Sufyan is safe. Anyone who's in his own house is safe. And anyone at the sacred precincts is safe. And once Islam entered Mecca, that way, it never left. When Islam come on the back of a tank, them people can't wait for the tank to leave. They be like, man, I'm going right back to what I was doing before. Because you make Islam the enemy when you're bloodthirsty. But when the people see the mercy of Islam, they say the Prophet ﷺ came and only like 3 people died. And we know what we did to him. We know what we did to his companions. And this is the Islamic way. Islam is a way of mercy and compassion. Once we start to lose that, we lose the luster. Once the car ain't got the new car smell no more, you start letting kids eat chips in the back seat. You riding around, you pick somebody up, they jump in the car, they be like, man, this car's so dirty. They don't say nothing. But you used to it because it done lost its luster. And so you trying to promote Islam to people, but it don't have no rahmah. People not going to listen. You got to have rahmah. And when you have that mercy, you're going to be triumphant in this world. Aqulu qawli hada, wastaghfirullahi wa lakum. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalam ala ashrafil anbiya'i wa mursaleen. Nabi Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'een. Yaqulu Allahu ta'ala fil Qur'an al-Kareem. Inna Allaha wa malaikatahu yusalluna ala nabi. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu sallu alayhi wa sallimu taslima. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad. So in the second part of the Khutba, Imam Abdul Ali Musa, he passed away on Monday. He was from Oakland, and he started Mashallah Islam and the Sabbakun movement, which anybody who was in the Bay in the 90s, they know about both of them. Anybody with a little gray in their hair, been Muslim for a while, they gonna be like, oh yeah, Mir Abdul Malik, Mashallah Islam, Sabbakun movement, they was rolling, they was wearing black all the time. They was doing security. They was telling us to move to East Oakland. They had a school. It was a big movement for its time. And may Allah reward Imam Musa for everything he did. He was definitely a one of a kind. And as people up here about to throw a rock at me for even saying anything nice, because he was controversial. But one thing we can learn from his life is that we can't isolate ourselves. Because the more we isolate ourselves, the harder things going to be. We got to reach out to other people in the community, other people who look like us, who act like us, other people who pray. We can't think that everybody else is off the truth. Because this is what they call Bashariyah, humanity. Whether you Muslim or Christian or Rastafarian or Hindu, you're going to have certain traits. And if we concentrate on some of those negative traits, we're never going to get along. Human beings are jealous. Human beings can be spiteful. Human beings can hold grudges. We concentrate on those things, we never gonna make it through life. These people, they did this to me in 1974. These people, they did that to me. After a while, you're gonna find a reason not to like everybody on the face of the earth. But the truth is, everything that somebody done to you, in a certain situation, you probably have done it to somebody else. And that's why life is about forgiving and pardoning people. So that God will forgive and pardon us. We have to go through life and know, man, I done rubbed people the wrong way. I done came up short. I remember I was in the 11th grade. We was in science class throwing the football. Don't ask me how or why, but I was that kind of a student. We in chemistry class, we throwing the football from one side of the class to the other. The guy who I was throwing it to, his name was Lacey. And they had them little desks, like 4 people sit around, they could do an experiment. I'm hurling it. He catching it. And then he hurling it back. And then I'm catching it. And I'm hurling it back. One time I hurled that thing, and it hit a Walkman of a sis. She used to sit in front of me. When we wasn't in the lab classes, this is a sat right in front of me. Hit a Walkman and smashed it. I was like, man, I ain't got no money. That was back when Walkman was expensive. Now you find them at the garage sales. Kids be like, Dad, what's this? When you got to put the tape in, they be like, what's the tape? But so she was hysterical. I was like, I'm gonna pay for it, I'm gonna pay for it. Allah forgive, I never paid for that Walkman. I was like trying to get to class and get out. Every time she see me in the lunch thing, she chasing me down. I'm gonna bring the money, I'm gonna bring it tomorrow. I'm like, man, I ain't got no money for this Walkman. I just started drug dealing. Last day of school, I had the biggest crush on this sister too, right? Looking back at it, she probably was Nigerian or something, but I just thought she was Black American. But her name was like, I don't want to say her name, just they would put it on the internet. Sister gonna be like, where my Walkman? She gonna be like, I knew that brother like me. Last day of school, I had been a boy in there ducking and dodging in the lunchroom, you know what I'm saying? I come around the corner, she right there. I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna give you the watch. I don't want to hear all that. She grabbed my hand, she wrote a number on it, and then she just left. And I was like, Allahu Akbar. Guess she liked me just like I liked her. But you know, back in them days, we was young and innocent. We didn't know nothing about life, you know what I'm saying? But my thing is, if she could have still been like sitting to this day, like, man, that dude broke my Walkman. Like most of the stuff people are upset about, they can't remember the actual reason. I can't remember that the Walkman that he broke is like worth nothing in today's life. But I can still be mad that he broke it. I can't remember that the husband that she stole from me, I couldn't stand him anyway. But I'm still mad at her. She actually did you a favor by stealing your husband. And sister's like, I ain't trying to hear all that. But what I'm saying is, if we think about it, a lot of the things in life that we upset about, it ain't even worth being upset. We do more damage to ourselves harboring ill will for people. And I'm not telling anybody that they gotta forgive anybody. I'm saying what worked for me in life. Because I used to, coming out of Mass I was mad at everybody. You couldn't say certain names to me, I would be like, who, that dude? I would just give a Khutba. But after a while I said, man, who am I actually hurting except myself? By backbiting, slandering, being upset, giving myself some kind of like ulcers or a lot of medical maladies come from just being angry all the time. Sometimes you just gotta learn to let it go. Allahumma ihdina fi man hadayt wa afina fi man afayt wa tawallana fi man tawallayt innaka taqi wa la